MTL Sports, we're back at it again. Episode 83. We got some basketball to go over today. We got our weekly picks. Plus, we got some Sweet 16 predictions that we didn't get to last time. So, hold on to your seats and enjoy the ride. Plus, we got some news to go over in the NBA. A lot of injuries, stuff like that. So, we'll just dump that all into the NBA weekly picks as well. So, with all that being said, please stay tuned. A little bit of news to go over today. I guess this is breaking news. We reported a couple months ago, came out that Wiz were trying to move, the Wiz and Capitals were trying to move to Alexandria. Well, after some politicking, that deal didn't go through. Today, I guess Alexandria officially said, yeah, we don't want you, we don't want a sports team. So with that being said, they're staying in DC, y'all. So all the locals, you ain't got to worry about not going to Capital One. Hopefully they'll, with the new money that the DC is giving them, they can improve the place. Capital One's not a bad arena, but the one thing they do lack is like the bathrooms kind of suck. Mm-hmm. If you go there, there's usually always a line unless you get there super early. Halftime, though, if you try to use the bathroom, you're going to be waiting like 10 minutes, bro, because that line is insane.
The beer prices suck, too.
Yeah, that's true. And even with the 10% off, if you're a Capital One member, I don't do shit. I got a Capital One card not too long ago just to save a couple dollars, or at least I thought I was, and I'm like only saving like $1. It's like, bro, what? Come on now. You gotta give me a little something, something. I'm a loyal consumer of the beer. Come on now. But yeah, hopefully they'll make it a little bit nicer. Any thoughts, Lawrence?
I never thought they were actually going to go to Alexandria. I always hopeful that they would, but the people of Alexandria were really complaining about the traffic that it was going to cause. Mm-hmm. In my opinion, I don't even think it was going to cause that much traffic. People take the metro to the game anyways.
All the sports games, people, I would say 75% of people metro, whether it's going to FedEx Field, I guess it's Commanders Field now because FedEx dropped the name, but going to Maryland, people take the metro. Going to Nats, people take the metro. Going to Capital One, people take the metro. So, and the stop, and the stop was right there. So, I think it'd been pretty convenient. I don't think much traffic at all.
Yeah, I mean, Audi Field, that's the only one that you have to FedEx Field has a walk to it too, but DC United and DC Defenders, they have a pretty decent sized walk to it. But
how long does it take us? It takes us what, like 15, 20
minutes? I was gonna say 7. I got a quick pace, but probably 10 to 12 based on it's a good quick 7. See, I guess my eyes are skewed there a little bit because what normally happens is we go to the brewery.
Yeah.
We go to the brewery for the game, so it's a 7-minute walk from that brewery. So it's a 7-minute walk from the brewery.
Yeah, we got a whole pregame, routine down. We're gonna maybe tinker with it. XFL is coming up in like 2 weeks, so we might tinker with that a little bit. But yeah, from those bars and stuff, it's not too far, but people they like to complain, so I don't know. It's good that it's staying in DC though.
All you gotta do is walk around Nats Park.
Good old Nats Park. Speaking of which, opening day is tomorrow. I guess is it today or tomorrow? Opening day for MLB.
Tomorrow. Yeah, tomorrow.
Tomorrow. Okay. Good stuff there.
If anyone got the DraftKings app, I'm letting you guys know right now. $10 minimum. But the bet is any team that you pick to have the most wins by the end of April. If they don't win, obviously they'll give you the amount of money back for how many wins they get in April or how many wins they get by April. So as long as you don't pick a stinker who gets less than 10 wins, you pretty much make your money back in a free bet. So, I mean, there's no risk involved. So you might as well go out there and try it. I went ahead. I thought their odds were all right. I didn't think it was crazy or anything. Obviously, the Dodgers are too skewed, not a lot of profit. Braves, not a lot of profit. So I went with the Seattle Mariners. I gave it a go. They bolstered their hitting just a little bit. That's kind of all they needed because they have some of the best rotation in terms of pitching. So hopefully they keep the and also they have a very easy schedule. They only have to play the Dodgers and the Orioles as like a top 10 team, and at least they get the Dodgers at home. That's a benefit part. They get the Dodgers at home, and I think another thing along with the Dodgers, I think the Dodgers are going to come out the gate struggling a little bit with the whole Ohtani situation and that Japanese pitcher they paid a whole lot of money for, and he apparently doesn't like the way the American baseball feels. He said it doesn't feel right in his hands because apparently the Japanese baseball has like a little bit more like grip, like I don't know, it's like more textured. It's like more textured around the ball. So he's having problems, and pretty much every spring training he got blown out, and his ERA is like 15, so it's really horrible. So I think the Dodgers are going to struggle out the gate just a tad. However, it's the Dodgers, and they pay everyone, all the best people, so they'll be fine.
Nice. Take that little gem, y'all, and go ahead to DraftKings if that's your app of choice. Back to the news part. So we talked about the Wiz staying in DC. We already talked about that Michael Porter Jr.'s brother. He's being investigated. Not too much. Not too much more has come out since then. Joel is looking pretty likely he's going to come back before the season ends. So good for him. But other injuries, I think Kevin Huerter is out for the season. Even if the Kings make the playoffs, I think he's doubtful to come back. Sucks for me because he's on my fantasy team and he can put up some threes. But I guess if you're a Keegan Murray or a Malik Monk lover, they'll get some increased minutes. So I guess that's good for those people out there. Other injuries out there, I think Russ is coming back sometime this week. And I think OG came back or is coming back. So teams are starting to get the guys back. SGA's out tonight. AD's out tonight. This we'll record on Wednesday. But those are just like one-off things. But no other major injuries to report. I had one more other thing I wanted to talk about. I think I want to talk about the Clippers really quickly. They kind of just been sucking ever since Westbrook got hurt. A lot of people think that him being out has been the issue. I mean, I kind of
back.
He might have just came. He might have just came back.
Yeah, he just like I think he's played maybe 2 games max. I know he played the last game. And when they lost, I think it was the Pacers. I think he played in that game.
Yeah, so they lost to Philly. This is recently. Lost to Philly without Joel and lost to the Pacers. Halliburton's been in a slump, so that's, pretty demoralizing. They got some other bad losses on there, versus the Hawks. No Trae Young. Versus the Pels. Lost to the Timberwolves. Lost to the Bucks. Just not good for them. Hopefully Russ can make an impact, but do we think the Clippers can maybe come, stop the bleeding and make a playoff run, Lawrence? Do you think that's possible, or are they just pretenders at this point?
I'm kind of on the outskirts looking in that they're trying to. I want to, I think okay. Let me gather my thoughts here real quick. Well, how I want to word it and how I want to say it.
Okay.
Looking at their schedule, what they have left, pretty much outside of a few. When I say a few, I mean like a few fingers on a hand. They're playing the rest of the way playoff teams or teams who are making a push for the playoffs. So outside of the Hornets and outside of the Jazz, they're playing people who need wins. And they are a part of the crowd that needs wins. Fortunately, they get to finish the season off at home, like on a little home stand run. But I think they're gonna, I think they're gonna make the playoffs. I don't think they're gonna help their seeding in the playoffs, and I think they're gonna end up with a. Let's see what they are.
They should
They're
be
in fourth.
fifth. Or
They're the
fourth,
fourth
yeah.
seed right now, as it stands currently. But what does that actually mean? They're tied with the Pelicans. Dallas is one game behind them. I mean, in a blink of an eye, which just means 3 losses, they're in the play-in, and I'm pretty confident to say I think the Clippers are going to wind up in the play-in, which might be where they want to be anyways. I couldn't tell you, but based on how Ty Lue likes to head into the playoffs. He likes to get himself a good matchup, which we don't really know who he's trying to maneuver to become his matchup. I mean, if I'm him with his old vets on his team, I don't think I want to go game 1 against the Thunder. So you don't want to fall too far because the Thunder, I feel like, are a team that can easily win first round. I think it's going to be every round after first round that they're going to struggle with. I think they're just going to have a lot of energy and have full capability of winning first round. I don't really want Minnesota because I'm pretty confident Cat can return before the season ends. They're just planning on him not returning until the playoffs just because they know they're going to make it. They want him completely fresh.
Yeah.
And if I'm the Clippers, I kind of don't want a fresh Cat to deal with because they don't really have size outside of Zubac. And, well, Zubac, he's going to have to face 2 tall boys.
Two giants up there.
So, and then you got the Dallas Mavericks who absolutely obliterated the Kings last night. It was a close game going into the halftime. And then the Mavs just came out way hot, and the Kings were not prepared for it. Mm-hmm. Pelicans have injury problems, but it's nothing too serious that's going to keep them or hinder them from moving up. And then you got the surging Rockets, who I'm pretty sure we saw in their thing they have to play the Rockets at the last game of the season, which might be pivotal for the Rockets. They're not going to want to lose that. They have to play Phoenix Suns twice. The Phoenix Suns are in no way, shape, or form, prepared to keep losing. They're one of those teams that they don't know how to win in the fourth quarter, but they're gonna have to figure it out, and they only have so much time to figure it out, especially all that star talent. I think it's honestly for that team, you got to find someone to speak up and be a leader, and they keep saying that there's no leader on that team. Most time, you think of a leader, you think of someone who's kind of like a point guard-ish role. And I don't think
they don't have that.
Yeah, Beal was on a losing franchise for the last 5 seasons. So, he's completely okay with being in a team that's in the playoffs. So, if I'm the Clippers, I want no part of that play-in because every team in the play-in is so scary and dangerous. But yeah. I think the Clippers are safe. In terms of they'll always make the playoffs as long as you count the play-in. Outside of that, I have no idea. I mean, there's a great chance that the Lakers make a surging run to finish the season and overjump them based on how the Lakers have been playing because the Lakers are kind of figuring out how to win on the road. They already know how to win at home. Golden State's going to, I still think Golden State don't make the playoffs, but, that's just me, especially with the Rockets surging when they are. But, you don't have, you have a 4-game buffer to play with for that 10 seed to stay above it. You have 4-game buffer. You don't have wiggle room.
Yeah, you don't. I'm agreeing with you. They won't drop into the play-in, hopefully. I think they have enough wiggle room, but they got to get things together. If I was them, I would probably try to stick around New Orleans, that 4 or 5 spot. I think outside of that, they will probably lose. I think they have a good shot of losing to the Thunder, a good shot of losing to Timberwolves. Definitely losing to the Nuggets.
I think they lose to the Mavs too.
Yeah, honestly, if the Mavs move up into that 4 or 5 spot and they line up against them, Luka, he's a Clipper killer. If Luka can do anything, He gonna murder some Clippers and he's gonna murder some Suns. That's what that man loves to do. So that's a scary, scary matchup for them. So hopefully they get their stuff together. Westbrook, like you said, just came back. So hopefully he can help turn the ship in the right direction. But enough of that. Let's go on to picks of the week. Start with Thursday here. Tomorrow we only got 2 games because of the Sweet 16. Boston at Atlanta, rematch of the last game where Boston blew a 30-point lead. Teams with 30-point lead this season were 152-0 until 2 nights ago. Shame on you, Boston. No Trae Young, and you lost. Boston should probably win this one. Then we got Milwaukee at New Orleans. This is on NBA TV. Who do you got in this one, Lawrence?
I'd probably have to go Milwaukee, depending on who plays and doesn't play. But the way they just lost to the Lakers, you have to. I guess the better word is right your wrongs. You gotta step up and stomp there. But the Pelicans, they're pretty healthy. It says BI is going to be back for that one, so you don't have chance to play, and you crushed them 117 last time. I think the Pelicans are looking for revenge. So you got no way to play. You gotta stick it to them early and let it not off the gas like you did against the Lakers. Still don't understand how they blew that lead last night. Incredible.
It sucks that I didn't watch the game. I was too busy watching the Mavs just came on, and then I was watching the Thunder and who did Thunder play last night? Pelicans. Yeah, I was watching that game too. So I couldn't get a chance to watch that Lakers Bucks matchup last night. But yeah, I think I'm gonna go. Both teams, I guess, could get back. Like you said, depends on who's going to play. But right now, I'm leaning towards, I would say New Orleans. New Orleans for me. Moving on to Friday, y'all. This slate's kind of ugly for Friday. Phoenix, OKC. I think one of the 3 games that are pretty juicy this on Friday. Why did I click on Miami Portland? No one wants to see that, even myself. Phoenix at OKC. Who do we got in this one? No props yet, but who do we got?
Like I said, depending on injuries, I'd probably go with the Thunder to clean sweep them.
I'm right there with you. I got the Thunder in this one. Suns. They can't seem to close the game, so I'm gonna go Suns. Minnesota at Denver. Who do we got in this one? Remember, there's still no Karl Anthony Towns. The Nuggies, they got a couple of guys. That'd probably be game time decision, it looks like.
I mean, I would go Timberwolves. They're currently tied in the series. Timberwolves know they got to get one more back on them. I think Denver. I'm not gonna be the guy to come out and say, but I think Denver is gonna play a little strategic here. I think they might start resting and unresting, players towards this end of the season, because I think the Nuggets know what they need to happen and what they need to do, to win in the playoffs, and that pretty much is having everyone at full health. And if that means throwing a couple games to finish the season off and going from the first seed to the second or third seed, I think they're completely okay with that, because I think I think the Nuggets know that they feel confident whoever they get, first couple rounds, they're going to handle their business. Now, whether that comes to bite them or not, I don't know. It could be a strategic play as well, that you don't want to play the Lakers round one. The Lakers may end up being an 8 or a 7 seed.
Yep.
I think that's like one of those teams that's in the playoff, quote unquote hunt, that I wouldn't want to be touching right now, because the Lakers are learning how to, in my opinion, pretty much win. I'm not going to say outright that they have it all figured out, but I think they're doing everything right to figure out how to win.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I'm gonna go Timberwolves. I think Timberwolves get this one. Get back. Moving on. Why did it do that? Let's go to Saturday. Not too many games because of March Madness, but we do get a 5 o'clock NBA TV game. Celtics, Pelicans. We're in New Orleans. I say give me Pelicans in this one. How about you?
See, that's a tough ask. Why are you asking these kind of questions?
People need to know. People need to know.
I had to go Celtics. My bad.
Bless you. Yeah, Celtics is a good bet for this one.
I think it's a good bet, but I'll be completely all in on March Madness.
Couple days of March Madness lined up, guys. Bucks, Hawks. We don't really want to touch that. Heat, Wizzy, and Capital One. I'll be in attendance, but I will probably not bet on this one. Heat have a lot of players out, so not really worth my time. Cavs, Nuggets. Donovan Mitchell should be back, I think, by this game. Who do we have in this one? We're in Denver. I got the Nuggies.
I'd probably take the Nuggets on this one. I just think that the West teams have held better against the East teams, especially at home.
Yep. Couldn't say it more. Other games Sunday. We got a Thunder Knicks matchup. 7 o'clock in Madison Square Garden. Who do you got in this one? ESPN says it's pretty 50-50. I don't know. This is tough.
This would be one of the
Knicks. I like Knicks at home. I give them the slight edge because they're at home, but I don't know, honestly.
This would be one of those that I think the opposite of what I just said. I think this is one of those times the East teams upset the West team. I think the Knicks just have a little bit more juice at this point in the season. And when I say juice, I think they just have a little bit more fire to want to win these important matchups because the Knicks don't really have much playroom. The Thunder do.
Yep, I agree with you right there. Rest of the night, guys, honestly, I guess the Rockets and Mavs is probably the last game I would touch. These other three games, I'm not going to give you a pick. Just do what your heart desires, guys. But we got Mavs, Houston. Houston's on a 9-game win streak. They are making a push to get into the play-in. We're playing in Houston. Mavericks tend to play bad on the road, but who knows? Who do you got in this one?
After what I saw the Mavericks do to the Kings, I can't go against it now. It's just gonna be two. It's gonna be two win streaks put up against each other. I'm just gonna have to go Mavs.
You got Mavs. I'm gonna give the Rockets. They get the hot hand. I'm gonna give it to them. There will be zero defense played in this game. Both teams love to shoot the ball. I'm going to go Rockets in this one. It's going to be close, but I got Rockets. That's all we got for the weekly picks, y'all. But coming up next, we have March Madness.
We're back.
Stay tuned. Sweet 16 action. This is what you guys have been waiting for. That's what we've been waiting for. We had to wait a whole week for some more March Madness, bro. I couldn't wait. So get your FanDuel accounts, get your DraftKings accounts ready. Load up on more money if you need to, because we got some predictions for the Sweet 16, y'all. We're going to go day by day just to make it easy. So let's start with Thursday. First game up. Who do we got? Clemson, Arizona. Clemson, they're on a little hot streak. ACC team. They just beat Baylor to get into the Sweet 16. Lawrence, how do you see this game going?
Unfortunately, I have it going towards Arizona. The reason I say unfortunately, I don't see any way, shape, or form that Clemson can win. No, I'm not outright saying they can't win because pretty much every single ACC team that has made the tournament has dominated. I would say dominated. Has done extremely well in their games. So that makes gives a little bit of promise to the Clemson Tigers. I still think it's shameful that Pittsburgh didn't make the tournament, but it is what it is. And UVA got a chance to get in and not Pittsburgh, but I think Pittsburgh would have done a whole lot more with an opportunity than UVA.
Yeah.
But the Pac-12 has also done pretty good for itself. So, you got Oregon upset. If Oregon had enough players, they wouldn't have gassed out against Creighton. Otherwise, the Pac-12 has done pretty legit. So I'm going on a limb, and I'm going to have to say Arizona takes it. Arizona has played really bad on the road, but so far so good in the play-in, or not the play-in, in the tournament. So I'm going to have to go Arizona, but if I had to, I'd probably buy a little up, and I would take a Arizona win with a Clemson plus 10.5 spread just to feel comfortable about it, because I see this game being around 6 to 8 points, which is perfectly where they have it, about 7.5. Because that's about where Dayton was able to keep the game. I think Clemson's probably just a little bit better than Dayton, but I think Dayton strategized really well against them. I think they it was a really good matchup for them. But the only unfortunate thing is they're playing in LA, and so Arizona's right there.
Yeah, I'm gonna stick with my bracket prediction. I'm gonna go Arizona in this one. I think they're just a better team, but who knows? The ACC might pull this one out. Another team, another upset. Next up, we got the number 1 seed UConn Huskies going against San Diego State, playing in
UConn.
Boston. Yeah, UConn. Okay.
I don't think it's gonna be that much of a game.
I mean, they've been steamrolling people. I was just about to say the same thing. I think they'll get steamrolled.
Mm-hmm. I think they're going to steamroll them. I think they're going to murder them. The Big East is undefeated in the NCAA tournament so far. So I think, and then currently Seton Hall is beating UNLV. The last time I checked, it was like 44-20 or something. So a real shout out there to the Big East not getting love. Villanova lost to VCU in the first round of the NIT. Any love not justified, but real shocker that Big East didn't get more love. Honestly, it's just a real shout out to the SEC getting so much love, and pretty much none of them made it out of the first round.
Yeah, kind of a shame. I'm going UConn. They're my winners in a couple of my brackets, so I'm going to go with them. Next up, Alabama versus North Carolina Tar Heels, playing in LA. Who do you got in this one, Lawrence?
Pretty much I got North Carolina, and I don't think it's going to be close. I think the -4 is very generous. I would take it. The only reason I say that is UNC, they got their scare against Michigan State. Alabama struggled with Grand Canyon. And when I say that, Alabama has beaten Charleston, who doesn't play defense and only can shoot. Alabama can't play defense and only can shoot. Grand Canyon is a mediocre defensive team and can only shoot. Alabama can't play defense and can only shoot. Alabama, I'm pretty confident, is just lost one of their players due to their concussion. He hit his head on the chair. The last time I heard, they said that he was not going to make it back for the next game, and he was actually one of their defenders. And honestly, you got me to be honest with you, Baycott's absolutely going to dominate the rebound situation for the Tar Heels. I think there's going to be a lot of second chance points. I think they're going to probably struggle to drive into the paint for Alabama. I just think this is where Alabama's time comes to the end. Alabama sucks on the road. Both these teams are on the road in this one, but Alabama's been horrible on the road. And I think, if Grand Canyon was a little better and actually ran and drew up plays, I think they could have beat them. But they didn't. They just ran 1v1s the whole time, and pretty much just what one guy tried to win the game from at the end of the game, which Alabama obviously caught on to. So I'm taking North Carolina because they fought a true test in Michigan State. They took on real adversity. They were down. They were down. They did not look good in that first half.
Nope.
And yet they still were able to win the first half by 6, and then were able to dominate them 85-69. They scored 90 in their first game. and they let half their players sit out towards the end. So, there's a trend here. Tar Heels aren't letting up more than 70 points. Last time Alabama won against GCU, they barely scored 70. So I think Alabama's going to hit a wall right here. I think Alabama's one guy is going to struggle because they're probably going to try to corral him, which is Sears. That's pretty much all they got right now because they're injured. They're beat up. So that's why I think it's generous for the 4.5. I just think that's really generous, especially how beat up they are.
I'm going to go UNC with this one. I think they're just a better team. I can see a steamroll, so 4.5 should be plenty right there.
Plus, it's part of the script, Tar Heels versus Arizona, the RJ Davis versus Caleb Love situation. They were teammates last year. They were best buddies, and then apparently a girl broke up them. I don't want to speculate too much, but
yeah,
former teammates turn enemies now. Plus, if you didn't know, the UNC starting 5 is older than the OKC starting 5.
That's insane. That is insane right there.
It's like, I think UNC's is like 28 or 22.8. OKC's is like 22.5. So they're older by like 3 months.
Jesus. Last game of Thursday night, we got Illinois and Iowa State. Who do you got in this one playing in Boston?
So, I'm going to actually let you go first.
Ooh.
Because I think I have a hot take with this one. So I'm going to let you go first.
For me, I think I'm going to go Illinois in this one. They just been on fire. They played Morehead State. Yeah, they played, Duquesne. What's the name of the school?
Duquesne.
Duquesne. They've been putting up points. I just think they're just hot, bro. I think they can put up points. Iowa State, they're nice. They play good defense, but they just lightning. They just red hot. I think they're just going to put the ball in the basket. Somehow, some way, they're going to sneak out this one.
So the hot take I have is, I put a bet on it today. I think Illinois wins the region. I think Illinois wins this one and then beats UConn in an upset.
Oh,
I think UConn gets a little complacent after beating up San Diego State. And the whole reason I believe this is Illinois is like, pretty much almost all senior team. Illinois has, for the most part, been one of the most lackluster NCAA tournament teams for the last couple years. Like, they've constantly made the tournament and then they're out by the round of 32. They can never get past it. They got lucky with their draw. They got Morehead State, which couldn't play much defense. It didn't matter because Illinois is one problem they've always, harped on them all season is their lack of ability to play defense. But, they shut down Morehead State, and, there was a point in time in which they could have stopped, you got to look at it like they could have stopped beating the crap out of Morehead State, but they didn't. They had something to prove. They murdered them. They beat them with the bat, and they kept beating them even though they weren't breathing anymore. And then against Duquesne, Duquesne went in there hot. People were talking about upsets because Duquesne upset BYU and made it look easy. LeBron James gave the entire Duquesne team a bunch of bronze. They were playing in Pittsburgh. Duquesne is in Pittsburgh, and they absolutely beat the hell out of them. So you want to be honest with you, Illinois, it just seems, and the Illinois also went on to win the Big Ten. They took down Ohio State, which was the hottest team in the Big Ten at that point. They took down Wisconsin, who took down Purdue. So I'm just gonna have to go with Illinois. They've handled everything right. Pretty much they have two guys that are pretty much NBA talents too in their starting 5. So I was listening to some guy talk. It's the recipes you get for Cinderella runs for not number 1 teams to make it to the Final Four. Illinois literally has all the makeup of it. They're not a sub 100 defensive team, but they're middle of the pack. But they're the second best offensive team in the country. So I just think that Illinois has been, I just think the adversity Illinois has been through, like, you got to think about it on the other hand, like the Shannon Jr., the guard. I mean, he's been a part of every single time Illinois made it to the tournament and then got bounced. Like, he's been on each of those teams. He's finally got a run going. I don't think he stops. And then also when they play UConn, because I think they will beat Iowa State, and I think UConn will beat San Diego State. I'm foreshadowing, but I don't think UConn has a complete matchup for him. I think he just will be a complete problem. Now, I also think UConn will be a complete problem for Illinois.
Yes.
One main reason inside the paint. I counter that with Illinois was able to beat Purdue. And Purdue has the biggest inside the paint problem in all of the NCAA. So I just, it was plus 600 for Illinois to win the region. And it's just really good odds. I mean, you put $5 on that, you get $30. You technically get $35, but you get $30 back profit. You might as well try it. It's just a YOLO. You never know what's going to happen.
Yeah, 100% agree. It's not a bad bet. Juicy odds. Let's go ahead and take that. Both have Illinois in this game. Moving on to Friday's games. Back to back. That's what we're going, y'all. NC State Marquette. We're playing in Dallas, Texas. Who do we have in this one?
Now, a big part of me wants to say it's going to be the NC State Wolfpack. And I can see full well and how it could be the NC State, but I'm going to have to go Marquette.
Yeah.
Just because they're the 2 seed, the Big East has looked good. Another reason, and it's probably a petty reason, but I think it's a reasonable reason. But Shaka Smart was the head coach at Texas and could never get the job done. Wouldn't it be so ironic for him to finally get back, to the big dance in the Final Four, going through Texas? He had to play through Dallas, and in the Final Four, he'll have to play through Houston. Wouldn't it be so ironic for that to be the case? Sorry.
Yeah, it would be. Just like you, I want to pick the Wolfpack on my bracket. I didn't, so I'll have to stay true to the bracket, y'all. I'm going Marquette, but there's a very, very good chance that we will get Shaka Smart.
Yeah, we're going to get Shaka.
We're going to get Shaka, and the Wolfpack will find a way to win this one. DJ Burns, they got to slow him down. Like I said last episode, the guy's a ballerina. Finish with his left. He can pass. The bro is just... He's definitely going to have some NBA draft stock after this tournament. The kid can play. And 6.5 points for the spread, I feel like pretty generous. Like you said with your first pick, probably buy some points maybe and then lay that with something else.
Yep.
Because I don't think Marquette's going to blow the doors off. It's just going to be a close-knit game. It's the first game of the day, right? Playing at 7, so
Marquette blew the doors off with Colorado and still let them come back.
Yeah, there's going to be some jitters. Sweet 16, there's going to be some jitters. So 6.5, that's generous by my standards. But if you want to buy points, the more the merrier. Moving on, y'all. Second game, Gonzaga and Purdue playing in Detroit. Who do we got?
So again, another hot take for me.
Let's hear it.
Mainly because it's my bracket and everything as well. But I think it's been since February. Gonzaga hasn't lost to anyone in the country except for St. Mary in the tournament. So Gonzaga's pretty much been one of the hottest teams, if not the hottest team, in the country.
Yeah.
Outside of this tournament right now, I don't know what happened to Utah State. They just didn't show up. But whether it's the Big Ten tournament, like Purdue didn't handle Michigan State, well enough to give them like a vote of confidence. They lost to Wisconsin, who lost to James Madison, who then James Madison got absolutely steamrolled by Duke.
Yep.
So, they didn't even kill Grambling. Grambling, they lost bad, but there was no murder like it was Utah State, which maybe that's all they needed was to kill Utah State. But multiple reasons why I'm going to go Gonzaga is one, Gonzaga played Purdue earlier in the season and lost. Definitely did their homework. They're going to come back. Mark Few is one of the best coaches in the country. Gonzaga is one of the hottest teams right now in the country. Gonzaga has multiple big guys to throw in and throw out and to disrupt Edey, and it won't really disrupt any of their rhythm. The way Gonzaga looked iffy against Kansas in the first half and then absolutely murdered them like it was nothing in the second half, that's called adjustments. Something people have to do when they play Purdue, adjust, and I think they have the ability to, adjust. The way everyone was saying, McNeese this, McNeese is going to beat him, McNeese. They absolutely murdered McNeese. It was
Yes,
an absolute murder. So I just think Gonzaga is way too hot. So I'm going to have to go Gonzaga for that matter. And let's be realistic. Like Purdue has failed to excite year after year after year. And it wouldn't be Big Ten without a little disappointment from, the team that's supposed to do it all. Whether it was Iowa back in the day when they had Luka Garza. Same difference with Purdue with Zach Edey. I also think Purdue, they don't like to admit it, but they get way too Zach Edey dependent half the time.
You're right about that. For me, I'm going to have to stay true to my bracket. I got Purdue losing, but they're not losing against Gonzaga. They're going to lose the next round, y'all. They're going to beat Gonzaga. Zach Edey's going to have to play one hell of a game because Gonzaga, they're fast. And then hopefully they don't have a lot of bodies to throw at Zach Edey. Because if he can get them in foul trouble like he kind of did last game against Utah State, get those big guys in foul trouble, Purdue's going to be hard to match up against. So if he's on, Purdue's hard to beat, so you're going to have to kind of disrupt him, not give up, stupid fouls. But I think Purdue's going to win this one. They're going to, foreshadowing, but they will probably lose next round, though. Up next, who do we got? We got the Dukes versus Houston. We're in Dallas, Texas, 9:30 CBS. If everything goes right. Who do we got in this one, Lawrence?
I would still go again. I'd go Houston. I don't see Duke upsetting Houston, especially after what the scare that Houston got against. Who did Houston play again? Oh, Texas A&M. After the scare that Houston got against Texas A&M, there was like 4 seniors who are starters sitting on that bench, watching their life flash before their eyes because this is it. I fouled out. That's on me. And again, I still think Duke is soft. I'm not buying it. They beat up Vermont. Maybe James Madison wasn't for real like we thought they were, but I don't think Duke has done anything outstanding. But the ACC looks really good. So who knows? Maybe Duke makes an upset, but I think Filipowski gets beat up in the paint, and I don't think Houston has any great, paint presence. But if he's bumpable, then yeah, let's take it. Let's see what happens because I can pretty much tell you Houston's not going to run into that same problem again of almost fouling out of all their players.
Yeah, I guarantee that will not be an issue this time around. I got Houston as well. I think just Duke doesn't have enough firepower in this one. Houston's been playing well. Duke, like you said, they just, to me, they seem too soft. They played against 2 teams who I guess are just softer than them is the best way to put it. When they go against a real player, some real guys, some real tough, hard knock opponents like the Houston, they will be tested, and I don't think they got enough grit to respond because they lost to UNC twice and didn't look too pretty. So I'm gonna have to go against my ACC team. The Duke, they will lose this one.
They also lost to Pittsburgh.
Yeah,
who should have made
not
the
good at
tournament.
all.
Just saying.
Last game of the night, y'all. Creighton, Tennessee. We're back in Detroit in this one. 2-3 matchup. I'm going to go first in this one. I'm going to go Creighton. I got Creighton in this one. I'm going to stick true to my bracket. Got Creighton making it to the Elite Eight. Both teams have been playing well. Creighton, a little scared of Oregon, double OT. But they got their wits together in that second overtime. Blew the doors off Oregon, mostly because Oregon was tired, like you said earlier. But I think they get the job done. Tennessee, they've had some bad losses on the resume. To me, they can't be trusted.
I'm going to agree with you, mainly because I have a future bet that I placed on DraftKings, and it was UNC to get past or get further in the NCAA tournament than Tennessee.
Yeah.
I got UNC beating Alabama. I had Tennessee losing to Creighton. I think, again, Creighton got their scare. Tennessee has not gotten their scare. But also Tennessee, like you said before, like there's that first round of their first round. I think it was the second round or whatever it is in the SEC tournament. Their first game in the SEC tournament, they got absolutely dumped on by Mississippi State. And Mississippi State went on to get dumped on by Michigan State. So process elimination. Oh, cool, you beat up St. Peter's. They were a low seed. They were 15 seed. They were arguably, I think, in my opinion, I think they were overseeded. I don't think they should have been a 15 seed. I think that was a little generous there. I think you could have given it to somebody else who was a little bit better. But their second round matchup against Texas, Texas isn't the team we've seen in past years. I mean, they were decent, but like they're not that amazing, and they barely took care of business against Texas.
Yeah, for me, they just can't be trusted. After what I saw in the SEC tournament, I was like, nope, can't be trusted.
Also, none of the SEC teams have looked good either.
Yeah, that's also true right there. But yeah, Saturday and Sunday are the Elite Eight games. We don't have the matchups for those yet, but based on what we already went through, who do you have making the Final Four?
So
out of the teams left.
So based on how I've said it, it's going to be Houston. So I think it's Houston, Creighton, Illinois, and UNC. So I got 2 1s and 2 3s.
Ooh, okay. For me, I still think UConn makes it out. Houston will make it out. Purdue will lose to Creighton, and North Carolina will beat hopefully Arizona, but we'll see. I think either Clemson or Arizona, they have a good shot at beating. So I got 3 1s and what's Creighton? A 3? And a 3 seed. Yeah. So then of course next week we'll go over what's going to happen the next couple of days, and then get you guys ready for the Final Four and championship game next week. So stay tuned for that. But other than that, I think that's all we got for you guys tonight. Lawrence, anything else before we get on out of here? Is there any MLB you want to go over? UFC? Any of that stuff?
No, I don't. I'm not really excited about the UFC fight this weekend. In terms of MLB, I haven't been really watching a close eye on it too hard. But something I've been dabbling in and getting a little bit more into was the women's tournament. And if you want to pull up the women's tournament, we can talk a little bit about some, possibilities that can come up out of the woodworks. So
okay,
I think it's going to happen. I think Iowa versus UCLA, or not UCLA, LSU. They're going to have the rematch of last year for the Elite Eight. But it's unfortunate that they put them in the same conference together.
In the same region, yeah.
I think Notre Dame takes care of Oregon State, but I think South Carolina has way too much firepower for Notre Dame to take care of, because pretty much Notre Dame runs only 6 girls. So I think South Carolina makes it. I'm not going to say Iowa or LSU yet. I'm kind of still feeling that one out. I don't even know if Iowa makes it past Colorado at this point.
Yeah,
And then in terms of like
Caitlin Clark, she has to have a perfect game because she dropped 30 and it was a close game last game, right? Like,
it's just so they lost a girl in I think it was the game before the Big Ten championship to she tore her ACL, and it's unfortunate, but it happens. You might call me a Gonzaga bandwagoner, but I watched Gonzaga's women absolutely tear down Utah, and the Gonzaga women's team is pretty much all seniors. I mean, it's almost all seniors. So this is their chance to make a run. I think NC State takes care of Stanford. I was not impressed of how Stanford handled Iowa State. So, I mean, the one senior for Stanford fouled out. So I actually think NC State takes care of Stanford. I think NC State will probably take care of Gonzaga, unfortunately for that. But then in USC, I mean, you want to be honest with you? I think USC on the other side is untouchable. I think the Baylor girls, they got to take care of Virginia Tech because Virginia Tech lost 3-time ACC champion or ACC Player of the Year to, I think it was another torn ACL. So, they took care of a weakened Virginia Tech team, but USC is going to take care of Baylor. Duke found a way to beat Ohio State and wasn't even a close game at all, but I don't see them getting past UConn. And then I think USC and UConn will probably be the best matchup in the next round, outside of LSU and Iowa, if that makes it to
Okay. Yeah,
like I said, I'm still not confident on Iowa. I still think that they're the losing of that girl. I don't remember her name, but I think losing her, she was a main defender. I mean, you're noticing it. Iowa's not blowing people out. It's because Iowa can't play defense well enough to keep a stranglehold on games. They pretty much have to outscore and outclass every team they play outside of Holy Cross. But I mean, we're not going to really dive into Holy Cross.
Yeah, we're not going to dive into that one. But yeah, I can't wait for the Iowa LSU matchup if it does come to fruition. Also can't wait for UConn and USC. I think that's going to be a really good game. If both those teams can pull through. The women's have been playing well. I've been catching a few games. Not as much as the men's, but I need to pick it up next round. I need to watch both men's and women's Sweet 16 games. I gotta be better about that. But nothing else for me, guys. Nothing else for me today. So, with all that being said, this is MTL Sports Podcast, y'all. Episode 83. Thank you guys for watching on YouTube, listening on Spotify. There's been a little uptick in listenership, I guess, on Spotify. So thank you guys for that. And with that, we're going to be out. Peace out, y'all. Have a good one.